It's been years since our community's namesake and most well-known landmark actually was home to what it's named after, a flourishing mound of flowers.
So the native plants hadn't been flourishing the past few years for several reasons. A lot of weed overgrowth, a lot of invasive species overgrowth had come in and choked out a lot of those native wildflowers. And this type of ecosystem requires either fire or buffalo to keep the ecosystem churning and going from year on end.
With support from the Mound Foundation, the Flower Mound Fire Department recently conducted a prescribed or controlled burn at the Flower Mound, clearing the way for new life.
Fire allows the native plants that are growing to have more access to sunlight, to the nutrients that are provided by sun and rain, and it keeps them from being choked out competing for the same nutrients with all the overgrowth and the invasive plants. And also the fire can heat up some of those native seeds and allow them to germinate underneath all the new ground cover.
While controlled burns don't often happen in Flower Mound, when they do, the fire suppression force on hand is anything but small.
So this was the first prescribed burn that the Flower Mound Fire Department has conducted on the mound, or at least in our known history. Normally in a rural setting you could do this with probably 4 to 6 personnel, but with it being in the middle of town with homes and businesses immediately adjacent to the property, and we had apparatus on each street to the neighbors with hose lines deployed just in case anything got out of hand and to keep any kind of embers going into the neighborhoods. Fortunately, everything fire-wise, weather-wise cooperated, and we had no issues.
Eliminating the overgrowth on the Flower Mound also supports the Ready, Set, Go Wildfire Awareness Initiative.
The Flower Mound Fire Department participates in the Ready, Set, Go program through the International Association of Fire Chiefs. This program supports public education of the wildland-urban interface. So leading up to this burn, we went house to house in the adjoining neighborhood and provided some of that educational material on what residents could do to make their homes more wildland fire safe and having defensible space around their properties. By having the prescribed fire out here, we support some of that mission by mitigating some of that wildland fire threat by reducing the fuel load that was present.